That was the one and only Ozzie Newsome, who for many years set the standard in the NFL for how general managing should be done. Excellent use of compensatory draft picks and identifying players in the 5th and 6th round. Free agents, drafting high. He did a lot of things really well. So Ozzie Newsome is there talking. Reeta, he's talking with his boys from the Dog Pound days. Talking with Hanford Dixon, talking with Bernie Kosar, his quarterback from back in the day. And so they're laughing. I don't know why they're laughing. They just had this random laughing. But what's funny? Anyway, they're laughing. I'm glad they did because they kind of loosened them up a little bit for Ozzie Newsome to tell us what we already knew, right? I mean, it's just confirmation. I just like to hear, I don't know about you, Reeta, I like to hear people tell me what I already know so the gaslighting cannot continue. We know the Baltimore Ravens looked at Deshaun Watson's contract and said, uh-oh, Lamar Jackson's going to want something like that. That's going to be a problem for us. And therefore, Baltimore and other teams are being a little lukewarm with Lamar Jackson as he tries to get a contract that is very close to being a guaranteed contract. Am I right? Or did I miss something, Reeta?
No, I mean, you're not wrong. And the thing is, Steve Bisciotti, the Ravens owner, came out and said it anyway. He said it last year that, it was problematic for players to get fully guaranteed contracts. So he's not saying anything we already didn't know. And then we heard reports that the owners weren't happy with the Browns ownership after that deal was made because that's something that they just weren't interested in doing. So I just said, not even the silent part loud, because the silent part was already said. He just reiterated what was already said. And it's funny, I think he was laughing because he's like, I can't worry about what y'all got going on in Cleveland. I got to try to sign Lamar Jackson over here. I don't have time to play with y'all. I got my own problems to be worrying about, what's going on. But ultimately, the Browns had to do what they had to do. Clearly, the Browns were listed on Watson's no trade clause list. And the only way they were going to be able to get him was to do something drastic. And that just so happens to be, guaranteeing all of his money. The weird thing about this is that since then, we've seen them say, well, they got to restructure, which they had to do anyway, right? Because you can't put $50-something million on your cap every year and think that you're going to be competitive in the NFL. But ultimately, they just did what they had to do. They were a desperate franchise. They have done everything that they could to try to get a quarterback, draft one, get one in free agency. None of it has worked. So they figured they could get somebody that they thought was good enough to be worth whatever it is that they needed to do to get them there. And that was the guaranteed money. Ozzie said 2 contracts since then, but it's been more about 5, I think, since then that guys have been signed. And as we've seen, none of them has been fully guaranteed. Now, the thing is, though, is that they're getting closer to fully guaranteed. Because if you look at the Derek Carr, I apologize. David is out here.
I do that all the time. I do it all the time.
David out here
I'm glad you did. Thank you.
Derek Carr's contract, I believe 2/3 of it is fully guaranteed. So we're starting to see it trend closer and closer to fully guaranteed incentives. But I think that that's about as good as we're going to get for some time. Lamar needs more people on his side, I think, in order for it to really become a trend. As of right now, he's a one-man band. So unless someone of prominence, like a Joe Burrow or a Jalen Hurts, joins the party, I just don't know that it's going to be successful in that regard.
Reeta, you bring up some excellent points as usual. And you talk about the desperation of the Cleveland Browns when they wanted to bring in Deshaun Watson. He wasn't going to go there. Watson had told Cleveland, oh, you guys are out. I'm moving on. I think it was going to be Atlanta. And then Cleveland came back in and said, well, hey, what if we guarantee the contract? Hey, okay, guarantee the contract. I love Northeast Ohio. Oh, Lake Erie. And
he was like on the plane, I think. He was on the plane to Atlanta.
Right.
They turned that sucker straight around and said, hey, we got to take another stop.
Hey, land this bird. Come on. I got to get back. But, the desperation does factor into it because if you are, I was joking about Ozzie Newsome, being there with his boys, Hanford Dixon. It was Dixon and Minifield back in the day. And it was Bernie Kosar throwing to Brian Brennan and Ozzie Newsome and Western Slaughter.
Yep.
That's their history. So when the Cleveland Browns talk about their glory days, and I'm talking about post-merger, 1970 to the present, you know how many Super Bowls they have to celebrate? None. They've never been to the Super Bowl. So their glory days are losing in the AFC Championship game. Their glory days are the drive and the fumble. And those are like heartbreaking memories, but that's the peak for the Cleveland Browns. So they were driven by that historical desperation, whereas Ozzie now with the Ravens, you got a Super Bowl to celebrate in 2000. You got a Super Bowl to celebrate in 2012. Hey, we've been to the Super Bowl. We won. We've been competitive. We won our division. We don't have any nasty playoff droughts like you guys. And so I think they look at the Browns and say, no, we're not you. We're not going to do what you did. We'll never, ever be as desperate as the Cleveland Browns. But that being said, Rita, you had an item in your feed that just speaks to me. You say the Baltimore Ravens, this Lamar Jackson situation is a clown show. Ooh, that's going to hurt everybody. You will get a phone call from DeCosta, Harbaugh, Ozzie, Kevin Burns going to call you. Like all those Ravens people going to call you. Right. So everybody's coming at you. What's the name? Don't tell me. Steele. Okay, Steele's going to call you. He's still there, right?
Chad Steele,
Chad Steele. All right. He's going to call you. Why'd you say it's a clown show?
It just really is, because the Ravens aren't used to being in the media in this type of situation. But all the reports that we've been seeing lately, you know, the NBC affiliate Mike Florio came out on Pro Football Talk and said, you know, that somebody is calling teams and saying that they're ready to move on. And these are things that I don't ever recall hearing these things publicly. And I don't know if that's because, you know, when you have an agent, these things kind of fly under the radar. But clearly, you know, there are things that's being done that essentially are not legal, because as we know that the NFLPA, it has to be someone represented with the NFLPA that's able to do these things. And I don't think that this is the first time this has ever been done, Mike, but I feel like because of the situation at hand is why we're getting this type of information. But also teams don't want to be forfeited a draft pick if it comes out that they were in contact with someone in Lamar's camp who is not certified, right? I've just never seen anything like this before. And because Lamar and the Ravens are, as of right now, exclusive, that's why I say that this is such a clown show. All of it just is silly. What is holding you guys back? I know that Lamar has come out and his camp has come out and said that we're not asking for a fully guaranteed contract. It appears that it's close to whatever it is that they're asking for. But what is it about the Ravens that are not getting close enough to a point where they could say, well, this is not what I asked for, but this is good enough for me? Is it that you just got your line in the sand if you're Lamar's camp and said, this is the number, I'm not moving? Or is it that the Ravens just essentially are giving him too less, or what he considers to be a disrespectful deal? And depending on who you believe in terms of the contract information that we do know, which is very slight, right? Different people have said different things. You can have a different opinion about if it's a good contract or if it's not a good contract. And so that's what I mean by this. They said that they didn't want any of this to play out in the media, but somehow it's being played out in the media. Lamar is going to do a video soon that's supposed to come out. This is just a mess. Find a way to either get it done or move forward. It really is that simple as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. And you're right. It is a mess. Now, most of this during most of this process, I have been solidly pro Lamar because I want players to get their contracts, and I'm going to go back and say there's nothing problematic about guaranteed contracts. I saw the baseball, Forbes came out with the baseball list, and baseball franchise values are going up. Well, if that's happening in baseball, you know what's happening in football. That's a really hard club to get into, the exclusive football owners club. Everybody's got money. The commissioner is about to get a huge contract extension that's going to be more than any player can dream about making in a single season throughout his career. Like nobody. Like, commissioner's going to make more than Aaron Rodgers. Commissioner's going to make more than Tom Brady ever made from football exclusively. So there's money there. I don't have a problem with a player getting guaranteed money. But I'm going to say this is my only criticism of Lamar. Okay, we all have our expectation. We had our expectations of what was going to happen when Lamar Jackson was able to talk to people, or people were able to talk to Lamar. We had our expectation, 4 or 5 teams going to come at him. Somebody's going to sign him to a big contract, and the Ravens are going to have to make a decision. That's what I expected. That's probably what you expected, a lot of football fans. What I want to know is, what did Lamar Jackson expect to happen? And what did he try to facilitate so his expectations can match up with his reality? It seems to me, Reeta, he's a step short. That's the only time, a step slow. The only time I can say Lamar Jackson is a step or two slow of making things happen. He doesn't seem to be very proactive. Even like you said, his camp has gotten out that he didn't want a guaranteed contract. Hey, baby, you don't tell me that in March. I want that word out. I want you to tell me that before the season is out. When you're not playing, and you're not playing for the Baltimore Ravens, I want you to start working some of your people. I want you to start planning for 2023 and 22. When you know the negotiations are not going the way you want them to go, come on, Lamar. And where's this must-see TV event? I want to hear from him. I want him to take control of a narrative that has gone way beyond his pen and way beyond his editing. So I think I'm going to criticize him for that.
And I think that that's fair, right? And this is where lack of experience comes into play. And I know that people are rooting for him to do this on his own, but why? Do you change your oil? Do you always wash your car? Do you always do your grass? Do you always do the things that you... Okay, well, good for you. I'm going to clap, right?
I'm lying. I'm just lying. I'm lying to you, Reeta. I don't.
The vast majority of us got AAA for our cars. If we got a tire that goes out, we pay for somebody to do the things that maybe I pay for somebody to do my taxes. I brought that up on another show here previously. There's things that we can do, but we don't have the same skill set or the experience to do them and maximize what we can get from those same situations. I don't have a problem with Lamar saying, I'm going to do this my way, but what's the issue in having someone on your team that has valued NFL experience with these teams, with these guys, these GMs and these front offices? And I think that that's why we're a step behind, is because he doesn't really have someone with valued experience on his team that's able to do these things, and that's why they're slow. See, if you get behind, the NFL is going to roll over you, and that's what we're kind of seeing right now. Is that they rolling over because the lack of experience allows them to do that, right? And so if you have somebody that can say, no, that's not how we do, this is not how it's done, this is how it's done, this is how we move ahead, this is how we get our narrative out. And obviously we'll see how that goes with the video that we're still waiting on to come out. I don't even think it is going to be much on that video, by the way, but there's that. You just got to get people that can help you. Even if you don't want to get an actual agent, get somebody to help you with experience. Oh,
that's a word. That's a word. I got 2 things. And you're absolutely right. Look, NFL teams, even the Ravens, who are a newer team, they've been doing this for a long time. So they know, not only do they have a plan for negotiations, they just have infrastructure in place. If the negotiations break down, they've got people in the media who can do things for them. You got radio teams, you got TV people, you got print people. They got all the infrastructure in place, and they've got experienced negotiators. So you have to go in. They've got a plan for you. You better have a plan for them, and the plan for them cannot start to be executed when free agency is on. No, you should have been planning for this like a year or 2 ago, just in case. Because look, if you over-prepare and you come to a negotiation, you come to an agreement with the Ravens, okay, fine. No big deal. Yeah. You learn something from the process. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.